first, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello, everyone. This is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thank you very much for joining us. We are live streaming here out of the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. And if you've watched us before, you know we do this every day starting at 1 o'clock. We go throughout the afternoon, covering a wide range of topics, sometimes breaking news, sometimes things like cultural landmarks in Portland. And I'm talking about the Oaks Park amusement park there in Southeast Portland, and long time mainstay. We're going to find out how long, the great history of this, but also they have come up with a 20-year plan to keep it going and expand and change up what they're doing. We're going to talk about all of that right now with Brandon Roben, who's the CEO of Oaks Park. And Brandon, thank you very much for being here with us. I appreciate it. And, you know, again, Oaks Park being there for so long there in that location, but I don't think I actually know a whole lot of the history. I wondered if you could maybe just fill us in for people who don't realize just how long this has been a part of Portland as a whole.
Yeah, happy to, Greg. So the park actually this year celebrated its 120th birthday. So it originally opened on May 30th, 1905, less than a week before the 1905 Lewis and Clark Centennial Exposition. There was kind of a friendly competition of who could open their attraction first, and we won out. For the last 40 years, the park's actually been owned and operated by a nonprofit. It was originally built by a company called Oregon Water Power Railway, which would become PGE. In the 20s, they ended up selling it to one of the managers who had it for a few years. He passed away, and one of the other managers purchased it. And that gentleman was named Ed Bollinger. He ran it for a number of years with his son, Bob Bollinger. When Ed passed away, Bob took over. And then when Bob's wife passed away, they didn't have any kids. He thought he was going to be, not too far behind her. So he wanted to make sure that this place was going to last forever. He got multiple proposals from developers, said, hey, how can I preserve this place? Talked with some business associates, some attorneys, and they said, if you create a nonprofit, you donate everything to it, and you have really good articles of incorporation and bylaws, you can make this place last into perpetuity. So that's what he did, and the Oaks Park Association took over the operation in 1985, and we've been running ever since.
Wow! So
it's been a community staple for 12 decades, and really the last 40 years have been a result of the community support.
What do you think it is that makes it so successful to last for 120 years? I mean, that's a pretty amazing amount of time for something like this. What do you think it is about Oaks Park that makes it something that really the community has latched onto and has lasted for this long?
I think it's our broad appeal. When you come into the park, when you walk throughout the midway, the park grounds, you go into the rink, you don't see just one segment of the population. You see people from all walks of life, all ages, all socioeconomic backgrounds coming to spend a day together as a family or as a friend group, or on their first date. And it's that broad appeal that really resonates with the community and has led to their support over these 120 years.
And looking at it from, 120 years ago, how much, obviously a lot's changed, but going from then to now, like how big was it when it started compared to where it is now?
It's essentially stayed roughly the same size. We've occupied about the same 44 acres that we always have. When the park first opened, the buildings, there's a lot more historic structures that span the length of the property. But over time, as things started to show some wear and tear, they tore those down. And frankly, they just didn't have the resources to keep up with it. When the nonprofit took over 40 years ago, there was a few extra buildings, historic buildings that aren't here today that were removed. But not much has really changed since then, other than rides and food and beverage changing and some retail, stuff like that. But for the most part, the park has always consisted of picnic grounds, amusement rides, the historic roller rink, and our dance building.
That's pretty cool to think about that 12 decades of people have gone there for those different experiences, for those generally sounds like the same things 120 years ago as they do now. And let's talk about, though, this plan. So Tell me about this Oaks Park 20-year master plan that you have. What are some of the different things that you're looking to do?
Yeah, so this kind of got started because I joined the organization 7.5 years ago, and saw a lot of opportunity in this. The board, having gone through an executive search process, was really excited and engaged in the organization. And we said, you know what, it's been a long time since we did a master plan, and the last time we did one, we just didn't have the resources to get a whole lot accomplished. So obviously in a different position today. So we said, hey, let's do a master plan. Let's really look at this. And we involved the staff. We worked with a great team from Walker Macy, local landscape architecture firm, and Apogee Attractions, a group that designs amusement parks and theme parks all across the globe. So we said, hey, what do we want this place to be? And we really wanted to highlight, the sense of place, continue to keep this as Portland's playground, as a gathering space for the community. We just want to improve things. If you come in the front door now, you'll see the main office. And you're like, that's kind of weird. Well, the reason why you see the main office in the front of the amusement park is because that used to actually be the back. It used to come in a different route. So as time has progressed and traffic patterns have changed, the infrastructure has always stayed the same, and it hasn't been as efficient. So a lot of it has to do with access, pedestrian and vehicular circulation, kind of getting the rides that are spilling in the parking lot out of there, getting them closer to the underneath the tree canopy, providing better shade, better environment for our guests to experience while they're here. Adding some new attractions, restoring historic buildings. We actually just completed the first part of that with our renovation of the Dance Pavilion, which is an original 1905 structure. And we spent a little over $2 million upgrading the structure itself, improving the restrooms, the lighting, bringing the building up to ADA compliant.
Oh, I think we might have froze there. We are live streaming, so we'll see if Brandon can hop back in, and we'll go from there. I do have a couple of images here just to show you, though, while we're waiting on that. Pulling up a couple of things that he was talking about. Again, we're live, so tech stuff happens sometimes, and that's just part of the game. I'll monitor what's going on there with Brandon, but let's take a look here at some of these renderings that they sent over as part of this 20-year master plan. Again, looking here at he mentioned the gate coming in there from the beginning, taking a look at that. Looks like we might have Brandon back. We had a little tech freeze there. Brandon, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's go to this right here. So you mentioned some of the, changing some of that way that people come into to Oaks Park, not going necessarily by the main offices. Why don't you walk me through what it is that we're looking at right here?
Yeah, so this is a conceptual rendering of an entry archway. So right now the main entrance is near the main office. Ultimately, we'd like to see that office relocated. We used to have a replica of a historic structure that served as our gateway. If I think you might still be able to find it on a Wikipedia page or two about like what it used to look like entering the park. So we want to kind of recreate that. The park doesn't have the greatest curb appeal when you come up. And we want it to be really apparent, like where you enter, where you're going to find the tickets, where you're going to find concessions or gifts and souvenirs, things like that, all of which don't really exist right now. Generally, the guests rely on, past experience. Say, hey, the last time I came in through the south end and I walked up by the roller coaster, so I'm going to go that way. Or, hey, I came in by the rink. We want to really make sure that we define where the front door is to make it easier for guests to kind of complete that check-in process.
Makes sense. And, taking a look at it right there, I mean, that does have a pretty grandiose entryway there. Now, would these be brand new structures that would be built for that?
Yeah. So the main entrance plaza, we contemplate building a new entrance archway, new ticket booth, and new gift shop while removing the existing office and relocating that. The buildings that you don't see in this rendering that are actually behind that are historic structures, and one of those would be restored to kind of its 1905 look. So we'd improve the facades, enhance them, and try to recreate that historic character. One of the other food stands, we don't have the greatest documentation on what that looks like, so the design team is contemplating some other fun designs that kind of tie into historical notes.
Wow, I mean, just that would look, just thinking about how that's going to look there once you get that completed and seeing that as the experience. Let me ask you, for people who are going to Oaks Park now, and maybe come back 20 years from now, as people have been going there for decades, what do you think that experience is going to be like for them 20 years from now compared to where we're at right now?
Yeah, that's really the hardest part of our job, is trying to make sure that the park stays up to date, that we're being as efficient as possible, that we have new attractions from time to time that bring people out, but preserving that nostalgia and making sure that when people come here, that they feel it looks just like it did 20 years ago when I came for safety patrol, or for my middle school field trip. We really try to preserve that, and it really just takes it's incremental. So as we move through this plan, as we refurbish the buildings, and we do a little bit here, a little bit there, we notice it because we're here every day, and we see the change. But our guests, they latch on to certain aspects of it, and that's why they come back. They're like, it feels just like it did. And so we kind of want them to feel that way. We want them to be like, hey, yes, this was like it was 20 years ago, but maybe they notice something new. They start utilizing a new feature of the park, like, hey, oh, I couldn't buy a ticket online, but I can do that now. That doesn't ruin the memory for them, but it just makes the experience more efficient and easy for them.
Right, yeah. And convenient. I mean, certainly for that aspect of it, but that experience of being at the park, just having that same kind of thing when you walk in there. So what would you say to the city of Portland, or the people, or the city of Portland, the surrounding areas that are coming into Oaks Park? What would you say to them to be excited about this change?
Before that, I would say thank you, because we wouldn't be here without the support of the community. But to be excited about the changes, continue to support us. Tell your friends about us. It's, we are Portland's best kept secret. Most people don't know that we're a nonprofit. We want the community to know that. We want them to know what we are doing to improve it, what we are doing to steward, which is, it's essentially the community's property as a nonprofit. I don't own it. You don't own it. The community owns, any public benefit nonprofit. And so we want them to know that we're doing a good job. We want them to tell their friends about it and come, help support us.
What's the best place for people to go to find out more information?
Our website, oakspark.com, is always the best source of information. You can find current events, a little bit about our history and the nonprofit mission on there. We'll likely start updating our website soon as this first phase of the master plan gets underway. Hopefully, knock on wood, in the coming year, you'll find more details about that and some of the new things coming.
All right, well, Brandon, thank you very much for joining us, to talk about this and being the steward of this, cultural landmark here in the city of Portland, and just what it means for everybody. And congratulations on getting this 20-year plan going. So I guess the final question I have is, when does construction and when do things start on this?
We are, as I mentioned, we completed the remodel of the dance pavilion, which was one of the first projects. The main first phase, we hope to start at the end of January, early February.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. And thanks for being here on Fox 12 Now.
Perfect. Thanks, Greg.
And for everybody watching, again, we are live streaming here, but we get to have these longer form discussions and conversations about things like Oaks Park. We've been covering, of course, today, if you're watching live, we've been covering Chauncey Billups, head coach of the Trailblazers. And we've got plenty of information about that on our Fox 12 website, kptv.com. We've got more coming up here throughout the afternoon, so I appreciate you being here. We're going to take a break for right now, but I'll be back on whatever platform you are watching me on now. And I'll see you then. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.